I was a stay-at-home mom. Although I didn't stay at home very much with my kids, I would load my kids up in the station wagon and we would go on grand adventures. I would always have a loaf of bread, a jar of goober grape, a box of Little Debbie oatmeal pies, and juicy juice boxes. We could go anywhere on that and do absolutely anything. Well, this one particular day, I had to take my daughter to the doctor's. So after the doctor's visit, we decided we were going to go to the Inner Harbor in Baltimore. Now, as I pull the kids out of the car, I put the baby in the front pack along with her heart monitor. And then I put the 15-month-old in the little tiny fold-up stroller. And my 3-year-old is beside me on the right-hand side so I can hold her hand. And my 6-year-old son is on the other side, and he can take care of himself. So we decided we were going down to the harbor. And one of the things my children always loved to do is ride on the boat. Well, they didn't know that we really were riding the water taxi, the free boat that took you around from pier to pier, and you could go all the way around the harbor if you wanted to. Well, we would get in the harbor and we would cross over and get off at the Science Center, the closest spot we could possibly get off. But my 4 kids thought they wanted a grand cruise and they thoroughly enjoyed it. And it was just far enough that they had fun and didn't start griping and complaining and picking on each other. So we get to the other side and we walk then back around the harbor, and the kids love to watch, look at all the boats and the slips. And as we're walking around, they're talking about the birds that they see coming down. And I look across and I see the glass elevator going up on the Hyatt Regency across the highway. And I think, oh, this is a fantastic idea. And I turned to my son and I said, do you want to take a spaceship to the moon? And of course he said, yes. So I managed to get 4 kids across 8 lanes of highway on Light Street and into the Hyatt Regency Hotel. Well, in the hotel, the elevator is inside the building in the first couple of levels, and then it goes outside. Well, my kids didn't really realize this. So we get into the elevator and, you know, you naturally turn around and look at the door when you get in an elevator. Well, my 2 older kids did that, and I'm standing there facing the wall, you know, the glass at the back of the elevator. And the elevator starts to move. And I say, countdown, 10, 9, 8. And I'm looking and I can see that we're beginning to move and we're beginning to get a little higher. 5, 4, and we're just above where I can see that we're out in the open and the glass is there. 3, 2, 1, blast off. And I turn my kids around and there we are out in the wild blue yonder, flying into the sky when they could see nothing around them, and my son hit the ground. Womp. Ah! Screaming at the top of his lungs. Well, of course, the 3-year-old then starts to scream, ah! And tries to climb up my side. Well, the baby starts crying because everyone else is screaming, wah, wah, wah. And to make it worse, the 3-year-old had dislodged the cable from the heart monitor, and the heart monitor starts going off. The noise was absolutely horrendous. And we're going up and up and up, and it feels like we're just going to take off and go to the moon, because that's what I promised. Well, as we get to the very top, the elevator doors open, and there's this man, full suit, probably the head of a bank or something, standing there very prim and proper. And he looks at me, and he looks at the kids, and he takes a step backwards, and he says, I'll wait. And the door closed, and we're heading back down. Now, at this point in time, I am laughing hysterically, tears rolling down my face. Wah! 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 Man! Woo! Woo! I mean, the noise was horrible. We get back down to about the 3rd floor, and the elevator door opens, and there's 2 security guards standing on the outside of the door. And the one of them looks at me, he said, "Is there a problem, ma'am?" And I said, "Oh no, we're just looking for the door to the promenade so that we can go over to the inner harbor." And he says, "Well, I'll escort you there." So I get these kids out of the elevator, peel my son up off of the floor of the elevator, and go around to the promenade where they swiftly close the door behind us. And I go around the corner and I hit the ground. I am apologizing to my kids, telling them how sorry I am. But, you know, that was probably not the greatest idea to start with.